news tonight.
Know exactly who are the shareholders, how much capital was injected into this company.
MPs grill officials from hydropower company Bujagali Energy Limited on various contractual loopholes and their questionable request to get tax waiver. Leaders of opposition National Unity Platform received defecting supporters from the Democratic Party and the ruling party National Resistance Movement.
I'm privileged to be one of those officers who have benefited from the promotion.
Also tonight, President Museveni promotes over 700 police officers, 5 officers are now Assistant Inspector General of Police, police spokesman Enanga among the new commissioners of police. And in sports, the Federation of Motorsport of Uganda and the Motocross Association of Uganda have buried their hatchet in the interest of the sport. Good evening. Thank you for tuning in to CTV. This is a PM edition. I'm Bandadetta Pio, our sign language interpreter, Isaac Luchamozi. Thank you so much for having us on tonight. We start in Mbale district, where the leader of opposition in parliament, Matthias Mpuga, earlier today visited Mbale city to inspect the areas that were affected by floods, which have left almost 30 people dead in the Elgon region. During his inspection, Mpuga said that the office of the Prime Minister sent victims only 1.2 million Ugandan shillings to handle the aftermath of the floods, which they say is not enough. The details.
A delegation of members of parliament from the opposition led by the leader of opposition today visited Mbale city to assess the impact of the floods that rocked the city over the weekend. By the time they arrived, the search for dead bodies was still ongoing. They also visited the site where a minibus was submerged in water, killing 10 people on the spot. Many have attributed the floods to negligence of government and the police.
Disasters are about planning. Disasters are about early warning systems being in place. We came to check on the existence of early warning systems. We actually have found that some of the warnings were communicated to the regime, but of course they were preoccupied with other things.
According to the leader of opposition, Matthias Mpuga, victims deserve justice from the courts of law.
A commandeer a bullion van to go and break voters in Soroti, but the same Prime Minister would only send 1.2 million to the community that have no food, shelter. I think really is smoking them, and we can't allow this to happen when we are leaders in this country. They are criminal negligence. They are indictable for not doing their work when the people most need them.
The delegation delivered food items including posho and beans. Government is said to have delivered 20 tons of posho and 10 tons of beans. This was coupled with a total sum of Ugandan shillings 1.2 million to cater for the aftermath. The members of the opposition also called for the decentralization of disaster responses.
I'm very sure they have emergency tear gas. They could have had an emergency existence when these floods were raging and sweeping away people on the highways.
Over 500 households are said to have been affected by the floods that hit the Elgon region over the weekend. The most affected districts include Mbale, Sironko and Kapchora. The fire was compiled by Ramson Muhire for CTV, PM Edition.
Thank you, Ramson. In Parliament, officials from hydropower company Bujagali Energy Limited have been grilled by the ad hoc committee of Parliament investigating whether government should indeed give the power generating company tax waivers. Today, members of the ad hoc committee made shocking discoveries. More in this report.
The officials of Bujagali Energy Limited, led by their CEO, today appeared before the ad hoc committee of Bujagali, investigating Bujagali, chaired by the Shema Municipality MP Dickson Kateshumbwa, where he was quizzed on irregularities found in the company's establishment and agreement with the government of Uganda.
We want right? The information we have got from government, from Ministry of Finance, from Ministry of Energy, clearly states that Bujagali wants to change.
So
So we wanted a chronology, how this company moved from the time of its establishment to where it is now, so that we know exactly who are the shareholders, how much capital was injected into this company.
The officials who appeared unprepared failed to convince the MPs in their submission and failed to avail relevant documents.
Then on May 16th, the first shareholder were Isaiah Venture and Innocent Chibika.
Because we are trying to walk through the journey of Bujagali, when it was incorporated, who were the shareholders, how did the government come in, what were the obligations of government.
During the investigations, the committee discovered that the company received a tender in 2004 and later started operation 2005, but the signatories and the shareholders, which appeared to be vague before the committee.
Issues with the shareholding or shareholders and the transfers of shares over a period of time. Today we discovered that they were initial in 2005 when the company was established. There were two shareholders with one share each, and we're wondering how can a company with two shareholders with two shares really win a huge tender.
So far what we have seen is that there were companies behind the Bujagali Energy Limited, because the original incorporated company did not have sufficient share capital to undertake this investment.
On the issues of making electricity affordable for Ugandans, the members had this to say.
The outcome of this report enables us to determine whether we have got value for money, whether government should continue extending the waiver, and what should be the tariff rate that we should be paying.
The true story, power cost would be lower. First of all, there was a debt, we pay a debt and a return. There was equity, we pay the equity and a return on equity, and we paid all their money on equity. But the guys are still here demanding more money.
The chairperson of the committee adjourned the meeting and requested the officials of Bujagali Energy Limited to return to a later date with a relevant document signed between the company and government.
We have asked the Bujagali team to go back and bring certain information that will help us connect the dots, so that we understand why is power very expensive. Why is Bujagali power very expensive?
Bujagali Energy Limited has been enjoying tax waivers since establishment and wishes to be added additional waivers for other period of 5 years. However, the committee says they want to see value for money and service to Ugandans. Sarah Nakandi for CTV PM Edition.
President Museveni, who is the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, has promoted over 700 police officers. 5 officers have been promoted from the rank of Senior Commissioner of Police to Assistant Inspector General of Police. These are Richard Ediegu, Charles Birungi, Ruhuma James Ochaya, John Nwagire and Ali Kali. Police spokesperson Fred Enanga has also been promoted from the rank of Commissioner of Police to Senior Commissioner of Police.
And I'm privileged to be one of those officers who have benefited from the promotion. It is each and every officer's dream upon joining the force to enhance their career in the institution. This is an institution that we joined out of passion, the passion to serve the public, to protect and serve the public. So when you advance from the lowest journey to where you are today, you have to thank God for that. You have to thank your superiors. You have to thank the staff that you work with. You have to thank your family and the general public. And for me specifically, I also have to thank the media, because it is in this role of public relations that I've been very, very visible. So I want to thank colleagues from the media as well. Of course, every promotion comes with added responsibilities. So you expect wider and larger assignments to come with the promotion, which means that we have to be more dedicated and more committed to serving Ugandans, visitors in this country, and the communities.
Arab Contractors Limited, the company that was contracted to build Busega Market, has been directed to rectify structural defects on the market within 2 months. Prime Minister Robina Nabanja issued the directive today at the new Busega Market in Rubaga Division, where she had gone to inspect and assess the market ahead of the official opening. We have more.
The Prime Minister's visit follows complaints about structural defects that have caused the delay of the official opening of the multi-billion market facility. Prime Minister Nabanja was taken on a guided tour around the market facility, especially the questionable areas.
Walomba wadde myezi 2 mubenga mumaze okkiriyalingawo. Kati amakuba agayingira wano ng'akatale tekanagulwa mu myezi 2, njagala kusaba mukulu Ben kumumanya side eri tukiriyalinge tufune ne entrance oba exit eziyita eyo okwaavoidinga congestion ey'akatale wano.
During the inspection, the Prime Minister was informed that the top floor of the Buseka Market complex, designed as parking space, floods whenever it rains, revealing that the market facility needs parking space on the ground to accommodate heavy trucks carrying fish and matoke supplies, among other items. Prime Minister Nabanja directed Kampala Capital City Authority to ensure that all illegal structures surrounding the market and those built in the road reserves be demolished within 2 months.
Era tusaba abantu abali mu mayumba agali awo emyezi 2 babenga basenguse tusobole okukiriyalingawo abantu bafune parking. Oludde eri waliwo amayumba ge bazimbye nga mapya, ndagira KCCA olabenga gavuddewo mu myezi 2.
Nabanja has also called for fair and equitable allocation of the market stalls to benefit the original and eligible vendors on one-man, one-stall basis. The mayor of Rubaga Division, Zaki Mberaze Mawula, commended government for its efforts to improve trade order in Kampala City.
basobola okubanga bafuna bataka zaabwe bajja mu gaga 210 nyingi nnyo tesobola kujjayo wakulenga. So tusaba minisita okulaba nga twanguya okugulawo bulungi abantu bafune mu bizinesi eno, twetaaga okubanga tuguze katetujanyi yakuteeka mwebale nnyo medera.
Busega Market in Rubaga Division is one of the 2 markets that were constructed under the Urban Markets and Market Development of Agricultural Products with funding from Government of Uganda and Arab Bank for Economic Development in Africa. Busega is one of the 9 markets the Ministry of Local Government embarked 9 years ago for development.
That story takes us in for a short break. When we return, more. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. You're still watching a PM edition. In the health sector, the Ministry of Health has resolved to have the self-regulatory quality improvement system mandatory for all privately owned facilities, including drug shops, pharmacies, dental units, radiology, and other specialist facilities. The move aims at improving the standards and streamlining the systems when it comes to service delivery. Take a listen.
The Minister of Health today launched the self-regulatory quality improvement system to modernize the supervision of private health sector and move away from the ancient system of going door to door and looking for what is wrong with health facilities.
So we needed to make sure that the scoring mechanism also recognized those many loopholes that wouldn't really speak to the quality gaps that facilities had.
According to Grace Chiwanuka, the Executive Director of Uganda Healthcare Foundation, the self-regulatory quality improvement system will help recognize the private sector as partner in health service delivery.
It allows the facility to also understand through an e-learning platform how they can skill themselves internally to be able to speak to those gaps.
The Director General Health Services at the Minister of Health, Dr. Henry Mwebesa, has cautioned the health monitoring team not to use the system to torture the proprietors of private health facilities, but to improve service delivery in privately owned health facilities.
We are not doing a tool where when we find gaps we run to close them. Of course, we are doing it together with the councils, so we don't run to close them. But we are emphasizing to the councils that you go and support the private facilities to improve the gaps so that they can provide better quality services to our people.
The digital platform was designed through a collaborative effort between the medical regulatory authorities and private health sector represented by Uganda Healthcare Foundation.
Can they be able to self-assess and then meet the minimum standard that Ministry of Health needs? So that's why we developed this component from the private sector, private healthcare perspective. How can they self-regulate? Because if you self-regulate, then it's easier for Ministry of Health to be able to assess you.
According to the Minister of Health, the number of health facilities, public, private and private not-for-profit in Uganda now totals to 6,937. Shamim Natebo Wetendo, CTV PM Edition.
Thank you, Shamim, for that report. Now, leaders from the National Unity Platform Party have welcomed new members from the Democratic Party and the ruling party, National Resistance Movement. The move comes at a time when the opposition in the country have just signed a pact to work together in the upcoming by-elections after they were defeated at the Soroti East constituency elections. Kenneth Kamyuka with more.
Today, people who claim to be members of the National Resistance Movement from Buvuma district appeared before National Unity Platform President Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, also known as Bobi Wine, where they revealed the hardships they go through despite being members of the ruling party.
Nalina amaato ga boda naye sikyalina olw'emisolo n'amafuta. Emigo kulokuba nti ndi musajja mukulu sisobola kwebiikula.
The meeting, which took place at the proposed site of the new National Unity Platform headquarters, saw the party president Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu welcome new members to NUP from different political parties.
The friends that are joining us from the DP and other parties, we welcome you. But I want to remind you that this is not an ordinary political party. We are revolutionaries. Our mission is not just to be another opposition political party. Our mission is to remove the dictator, and to remove the dictator now.
Kyagulanyi also urged Ugandans to join the United Forces of Change, revealing that they are ready for a revolution.
We relate with everybody, even those that don't belong to NUP. And number three, other political parties, especially opposition political parties, they are not our enemies. I repeat, they are not our enemies. We decided a long time ago that everybody who pushes for the departure of Dictator Museveni is our friend. Doesn't matter whether they are from NUP, DP, FDC, CPANT, or even NRM itself.
Joel Senyonyi, the party spokesperson, reminded leaders not to be bulled by the people in power.
These people here, these ones here, they are watching, they are alert. And they'll not allow anyone to confuse them. That you see, I'm joining Mr. Museveni to try and cause change. That cannot happen. This is how we cause change. That's why people of the NRM, people of the Democratic Party have joined us to say, you know what, the situation is a very perplexing one. Let's join you and then we fight for change.
According to Senyonyi, they will remain steadfast in their fight for change and they will not be intimidated not to participate in the upcoming by-elections.
Not going to stop going for these by-elections. We are going to go there to rally the people of Uganda around the message of change. So we are going to Tisoro, we are going to Palisa, we are going to Kasese. Even when we know what the regime wants to do, they are ready to rig and so on. But we must go and we open the eyes of the people in those areas. That's why we are going to those places.
Today's meeting comes at a time when different political players in the opposition, led by National Unity Platform President Robert Chagulanyi Ssentamu, People's Front for Transition Pressure Group leader Dr. Kizza Besigye, and Justice Forum President Asuman Basalirwa have signed a pact to work together in the upcoming by-elections. Story compiled by Kenneth Kamyuka for CTV PM Edition.
In news from the region, Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i has gazetted Tuesday, August 9th as a public holiday. The move is to afford Kenyans a chance to participate in Tuesday's polls, and the United Nations mission in DR Congo has deeply regretted the decision to expel its spokesman, Matthias Gilman, from DR Congo. In a statement read by the Cabinet Secretary, Tuesday 9th August 2022 has been declared as a public holiday to afford the people of Kenya the opportunity to participate in the 2022 general elections of members of parliament, members of county assemblies and county governors. Meanwhile, Kisumu City has ordered the closure of bars, nightclubs, hotels, markets and supermarkets between midnight of August 8th to 5 p.m. when voting closes on election day. This is to give chance for mobilization of voters to express their democratic right come the election day. This is also to prevent possible overindulgence in alcohol, which may incapacitate some people, preventing them from voting the following day. On the 8th of August, all bars, clubs, shops, markets and lodgings will be closed as early as midnight and all activities stopped except the border riders who will be allowed to ferry voters to the polling stations. The Congolese Minister of Foreign Affairs, Christophe Lutundula, asked MONUSCO on Wednesday to do everything possible to ensure that Matthias Gilman leaves Congolese territory as soon as possible. The UN mission, however, says it is committed to continuing to work alongside the Congolese population and authorities to implement the mandate entrusted to it by the Security Council. The comments made by Gilman on RFI stating that MONUSCO did not have the military means to confront the M23 are at the root of the current tension. Since July 25th, angry demonstrators have ransacked and looted MONUSCO facilities in the Democratic Republic of Congo. 4 peacekeepers and 32 protesters have been killed in a week of demonstrations in at least 4 eastern towns, according to official reports. MONUSCO is one of the largest UN missions deployed in the world, with some 14,000 troops in several eastern cities. Since 2019, pro-democracy movements and some local elected officials have been calling for the departure of MONUSCO. You're still watching PM Edition. Now, politicians who want to represent Gogonyo County in the Palisa district have kicked off their campaigns. The seat has attracted Derek Orone, who is contesting on the NRM ticket. Others are Isa Taligola, an independent candidate, and Joseph Okoboy Opolot, the National Unity Platform flag bearer. After nomination, Mr. Orone, accompanied by high-profile NRM cadres, including the party's Director for Mobilization, Ms. Rosemary Seninde, said he intends to accomplish his manifesto he made with the people of Gogonyo if re-elected. Ms. Seninde, I beg your pardon, Mr. Nide told journalists that NRM is very strong and capable of winning this election with ease because the area has no opposition. However, Taligola says he will offer transparent and effective representation in Parliament if voted. The seat fell vacant after the Court of Appeal ruled that Orone was irregularly elected following a petition by his rival Taligola. Court ruled that Orone benefited from ballot stuffing. On the international scene, Taiwan has accused China of imitating North Korea by firing missiles into the sea around the island. China launched 11 ballistic missiles into waters around Taiwan's northeast and southwest coasts. Here's more. Taiwan has accused China of imitating North Korea by firing missiles into the sea around the island. China launched 11 ballistic missiles into waters around Taiwan's northeast and southwest coast, according to Taiwan. The launches, just miles from the coast, followed U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan on Wednesday. North Korea, a strong ally of China, has been accused of igniting tensions in the region by repeatedly launching missile tests in recent months. China sees Taiwan as a breakaway province that will eventually be brought under control by force if necessary. The U.S., for its part, does not officially recognize Taiwan. It does, however, maintain a strong relationship with the island, which includes selling weapons for Taiwan to defend itself. Pelosi's visit to the island therefore fueled tensions with China, accusing the U.S. of behaving irresponsibly. A day later, China began an unprecedented launch of ballistic missiles and military drills just off the Taiwanese coast. In response, Taiwan's defense ministry said it had activated its defense systems and was monitoring the situation. China's missile launches and drills are taking place in some of the world's busiest waterways, causing disruption to shipping lanes and flights to and from Taiwan. Ships have been forced to reroute, with days-long disruptions expected to have an impact on supply chains with delays to global shipping. More than 50 international flights from Taiwan's Taiyuan International Airport have been cancelled. PM Edition takes another short break and returns with news from the world of sports. Don't go away. In sports news tonight, national netball side, the She Cranes have booked a date with South Africa for positions 5 and 6 at the ongoing Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, UK. This comes as new Sports Minister Peter Ogwang met the athletes today. Clive Chazé has all the details.
Yes, good evening, Bernadette Apio, and thank you for having me again tonight. Just to let you know that we have a lot of action going on, and it does involve lots of Ugandans. Now, a few hours ago, the She Cranes did win their last group game of the 2022 Commonwealth Games after they did defeat Malawi 56-43. Now, the win means that they do finish third in their group, and they do book a date with South Africa. They will be playing tomorrow for position number 5 and number 6. After the game, I did catch up with She Cranes coach Fred Mugera. I asked him what he thinks about his team's performance in the group stages, because they played 5 games, won 3 and lost 2. But also, if Mary Nuba is now his first choice shooter, why? Because Nuba has played back-to-back games for the first time in this competition.
The performance was good, because my worry was losing 3 games, because this is the match that I wanted the most after losing the other 2, because the other 2 countries, that is New Zealand, New Zealand and England are ahead of us, and they're a bit experienced, and I wanted this one very much. And now that I've won it, I think I would either retain the 6th position that I had when we had the last 2 Commonwealth Games, or improve it to number 5, and that's our target now.
For the first time in this competition, Mary Nuba played back-to-back games as a goal shooter. Is that an indicator that she's now your first choice goal shooter?
Yeah, her performance was good, and I think because when she came back, there are some things that we told her, and when we were here, there are some things that we were telling her. And being that she was slightly taller than Peace, and this people had the shorter defense, so we wanted to utilize that.
Like I've told you, Uganda does play South Africa tomorrow, and Mugera says it is a game that they plan to put up a show, and they want to win on condition that the officials will behave.
If the officiating official handles it properly, and because there are certain things that I've seen, although I've not complained, but there are certain things that I've seen that are not going very well, and if they handle that properly, I think there are people, they are already dead, both people. We are going to beat them. But
as a coach,
happens, well and good, but we are going to put up a very good performance tomorrow.
As a coach, how do you prepare your girls going into this one?
Yeah, we are going to, I'm just going to tell them to be hard, because I know it's going to be physical. They are going to be hard, and we have to minimize on our errors. Like today, we did some errors in the second quarter, which almost made us lose our lead. But when we came back, I told the girls to get composed and settle, not hurry with their passes, and that's exactly what they did, and they managed to snatch some of their balls.
Not far from where I am, the new State Minister for Sports, Peter Ogwang, is meeting the athletes who are taking part in the 2022 Commonwealth Games. Remember, he was appointed just days to these games, and in a few days, Hamson Opuwa, who has been minister, will be handing over office. But he did arrive in this country on Tuesday, and he has managed to watch various games, and this should be his first official interaction with Ugandan athletes. We are yet to ascertain what he is going to promise or what he is going to tell them, but of course, those are details that we will be bringing you in our upcoming bulletins or sports shows. But also, we do have different athletes that are taking part in the games. Like we did tell you, 75 athletes are representing Uganda in 13 different disciplines. One of those disciplines is badminton, and we do have actually a Ugandan in Husna Kogari who has qualified for the round of 16 in the singles. The other Ugandans have not really done well in the different competitions or categories, but we did catch up with the head coach of the national badminton team, William Kabindi, who is an impressed man with how his team has actually performed so far at these games.
I'm impressed the kind of result that I've been getting all the way. Right today, I've witnessed Husna making it to the round of 16, which is a good thing. Commonwealth is not easy going that far. Kasebran and Fadia lost, but it was a good fight. Same like Husna and Ken also lost, but still it was a good fight. They both lost to Australia. It wasn't easy, but we are yet to see Kasebran play this evening. And then also Wanagali and Husna will be playing their second game in the mixed doubles. So I am hopeful we are going to have more results at least coming up.
Tomorrow, gold medalist in the women's 3,000 meters steeplechase, Peruta Chemtai, will be in action as she tries to redeem herself. Everyone thought that she would be able to put up a show in the World Championships on Oregon, but it wasn't the case. And we are waiting to see if she will be using the Commonwealth Games to redeem herself as her action does continue. For CTV PM edition, Clive Chelsea is my name in Birmingham, United Kingdom.
The Commonwealth Update, brought to you by Ababate.
Clive Cheze in the UK. He continues to bring us all the latest from the Commonwealth Games. But in other sporting news, the Federation of Motorsport of Uganda and the Motocross Association of Uganda have buried their hatchet and united for the growth of motorsport in the country. The event that was held at Katikati Restaurant in Kampala saw the two associations gear up for the All Africa Motocross Championships that will be hosted in Uganda from the 19th to the 21st of August.
Motocross Association of Uganda and Motorsport Governing Body, the Federation of Motorsport Uganda, have reconciled in order to see the sport of motocross further develop. In February 2020, a group of MX riders and parents broke away from the federation and demanded an immediate need for MX autonomy from the federation. This resulted in Motocross Association of Uganda members participating in unsanctioned events at Busika in the National Motocross Championship. After various negotiations between the two associations and the National Council of Sports, all parties agreed to work together. Dipu Rupaleria, the president of FMU, says an agreement was inevitable and the priority of the riders had to come first to help better the sport.
Many of our riders have been affected over the last few months because of the rift. As the governors of the sport, we had to find a way to bring this impasse to an end. There is a common saying that when parents quarrel in the house, it's the children who feel the heat. It is believed that in the interest of the children, it is always best for the parents to resolve any issues as best as they can. Motorsport is our child, the motocross riders are our children, and we have to protect them.
MAU President Barack Olan seconds Rupaleria and is optimistic that the future of motocross is brighter.
I think the biggest event in Uganda since 2012, if I'm not mistaken, when we host the first time All Africa in Busika. And it's one is to make the event, and two is to make a successful event. And we here basically want to make sure the event is not going to just to be an event. We want to make sure the event will be a successful event.
The event also attracted a number of riders' parents who were happy after today's memorandum of understanding.
So we are embracing this. We want this to stop. I think we are strong together. And with this film coming, I think this is what we fought. We've really fought so hard for these things.
We've reached some level of understanding with many of the riders now joining clubs which are affiliated to the federation, and therefore we seek to move ahead as one motocross family.
Our riders are sitting together. They know each other. They're having fun. They're not even bothered about this, to be honest. But yeah, so that's the mistake we had made earlier on, trying to divide the young kids because of us, the older people.
Aliesta Bleak, who replaces Maxine Van P as Team Uganda Motocross captain, says the riders are excited to all ride with each other once again.
On behalf of the riders, I think we're all very excited to hear the news of us finally joining. It's been at the back of our minds, I'm sure, riding with each other once again. And for it to be happening is definitely exciting, and it's just what we've all wanted. It's been a dream come true.
After a 2-year scuffle, the unity between FMU and MAU comes at the right timing as Team Uganda prepares for the All Africa Motocross Championships on home soil later this month. Noah Walakira, CTV, PM Edition.
Well, we have come to the end of PM Edition. Thank you for your company. Do keep it CTV though, more interesting programming lined up for you. To get more on these and other stories, head on to our website at ctv.co.ug. You can also reach us on all our social media platforms at CTV Uganda. PM Edition returns tomorrow. Good night.